And how did I not put it together that his name was Eric Matthews until right this moment?
Not only is he a member of NKOTB, he's also a member of the cast of Boy Meets World?
Yes.
Hello, and welcome to Franchise Frights Podcast. You're Mandy.
And you're Cam.
How are you?
I'm good. The dog's being weird.
He's always being weird.
Yeah.
One thing about beagles is they're really good at being weird.
They have a lot of personality.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah.
So, how have you been?
I'm good.
Are you excited that as we record this, as this comes out, Christmas is now over.
It is. Yay!
And New Year's is coming.
Good.
So everybody have fun, but be safe.
Be safe.
And if you're going to set a New Year's resolution, make it something attainable. Don't set yourself up for failure.
Yeah. I don't set New Year's resolutions. I set birthday resolutions.
Oh, that's a good idea. I have a New Year's resolution for the podcast.
What's that?
I want to get up to 100 listeners per episode by the end of 2024.
I think that's doable.
And I also want to get some merch out.
Oh, that's fancy stuff.
Yeah.
You act like we have money for things like that.
Well, the money will come.
Oh, okay.
The sponsors are coming.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, want to shout out Molly for designing our logo for us. Molly's awesome. And if you're in need of any artwork stuff, or if you just want to follow somebody awesome, you can follow her at Aunt Molly's Magic at Instagram, or on Instagram.
On, not at.
Do you have any horror news?
I don't.
Since this is the recording right before 2024 starts, I decided to look up some movies that I think sound good that are coming out in 2024.
Sounds good.
On January 5th, there's a movie coming out called Night Swim, and the plot is a woman swimming in her pool at night is terrorized by an evil spirit.
I've seen previews for it.
It stars Wyatt Russell.
Oh, I guess I didn't see him in it, but it doesn't look great.
Maybe you'll like the next one then.
Okay.
This one comes out March 8th. It's called Imaginary. A woman returns to her childhood home to discover the imaginary friend she left behind is very real and very unhappy that she abandoned him.
I've already seen this movie.
Is it Drop Dead Fred?
It's Drop Dead Fred.
There's another one. This is my last one.
Okay.
It comes out on April 5th, and it's called The First Omen. A young woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate.
Oh.
It sounds like it could be good, or it sounds like it could be one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see which way they go with it.
That one's definitely a coin toss. Still fucking with your microphone.
I am still fucking with my microphone. I can't find the right angle. Because if it's over here, then it's in the way of my notes.
I like how your nose is just pressed up against it.
Yeah. Just put my nose against the windscreen. I don't know. I'm not good at things.
That's okay.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we jump into the movie?
I don't think so.
What movie did we watch?
We watched Saw 2.
And that's probably not a surprise to anyone because it's listed on the episode title.
So it came out in 2005.
Yes. October 28th, 2005.
It did. Do you want to go through the facts and figures?
Sure. It stars NKOTB's Donnie Wahlberg, Glenn Plummer, Beverly Mitchell, Shawnee Smith, Tobin Bell, and Eric, I don't know if it's Knudsen or Knudsen.
I'd say Knudsen.
because sometimes those names go either way. It was directed by Darren Lynn Bozeman, written by Lee Winnell and Darren Lynn Bozeman, produced by Greg Hoffman, Orrin Coles, Mark Berg, cinematography by David A. Armstrong, music by Charlie Closer. Production company was Twisted Films, and it was distributed by Lionsgate Films. The runtime is 93 minutes. The budget was $4 million, or $6.3 million now. It's so crazy that it's jumped that much in 18 years. Insane.
Yeah.
That's why it cost me $90 to go buy pet food the other day. The box office take was $152.9 million, or $241 million now, so pretty respectable.
Yeah.
It has an IMDb score of 6.6 out of 10, and a Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 37, and an audience score of 59. Thought it would be higher.
Really?
Yeah, for the audience.
Oh.
Audiences really like these movies.
Yeah.
The Rotten Tomatoes I need to stop saying Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus says, Saw 2 is likely to please the gore-happy fans of the original, though it may be too gruesome for those not familiar with the first film's premise.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Yeah. Do you want to know what Kurt Loder said?
Yeah, I always want to know what Kurt Loder says.
I know. Where is he now?
I bet he's like really old.
Well, in 2005, he said the slaughter in Saw 2 is pretty much nonstop, but you always see it coming. The movie's not really that scary, just gross in what is by now a fairly routine way.
Wow. Kurt Loder doesn't seem to enjoy.
Yeah.
Laura Kern from the New York Times said, it's more trick than treat. She also said, doesn't really compare to its predecessor, though it still manages to be eye-opening and sometimes positively nauseating in itself.
Yeah.
I just feel like this one's really not all that gross.
Oh.
Maybe I'm just desensitized.
I think so. You watch a lot more gross stuff than I do.
Yeah, I like gore.
I don't do gore. Peter Hartzlob from the San Francisco Gate said, the people who thought up this plot of the... Let's start over.
Is that what he said?
Yes. The people who thought up the plot to Saw 2 are much, much sicker than you and me. Imagine that the Zodiac Killer took over as the executive producer of Fear Factor, and you might understand the level of suffering in this movie.
But the Zodiac Killer would have just gone around shooting people.
I know. I don't think the Zodiac Killer was a good choice, but...
No, like, maybe the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Alan Morrison from Empire said, morally dubious it may be, but this gory melange of torture, terror, and darkly humorous depravity appeals to the sick puppy within us all.
Yeah.
Melange. Isn't that Beyonce's sister?
That's Solange.
I know, I was making it funny. Do you have any more?
I don't have any more critics.
You just breathed so much.
I was holding my breath.
I don't have any more.
Okay.
What were your initial impressions of this movie?
I said, I know I haven't seen the whole thing. I know it was on at a party once when we were there.
You saw the needle pit and said, nope.
And I just remember someone falling into a pit of needles, and that was enough for me. I said, I'm not really excited for this at all, although Cam assures me it's a good movie. And I did drastically change my opinion on the first one.
Yeah, I think you rated it higher than I did.
So I just put, I guess we'll see what happens.
I said, this movie made me totally rethink my hard stance on hating the original. I saw this at a party just after it hit HBO or whatever it was released on, and I was intrigued enough to rent it the next day. I love having the larger group of people all needing to work together, but being unable to do it because they all kind of suck.
Yeah.
And the traps are very squirm-inducing, so I like that. They're not really all that graphic.
No.
But they just make you bleh.
There's enough there that your imagination fills in the gaps for you.
Yeah. Especially when the lady has her hands up in the trap.
I don't like that one.
That one's icky.
Ugh.
Actually, it's not even icky. It's just like really disturbing.
Yeah.
Did you want to start with the plot or do you want me to?
I can.
All right.
So while the credits are rolling, we see a light bulb flashing in and out of focus. And then we open with a POV, and it seems like the person's just waking up. Crack.
Beer.
Their vision is kind of blurry. The lights seem really, really bright to them. Then we see a man, and he's sitting in a chair. He's like strapped to a chair.
Yeah, and it looks like a demonic dentist chair.
Kinda, yeah. And there's a mirror next to him, so he adjusts the mirror so that he can see his face. One of his eyes is all jacked up.
Yeah, it's all swollen and like blood's dripping
It's
down
not
the side
looking
of his
good.
face.
Yeah. He's wearing some sort of a helmet on the back of his head, and then the camera kind of zooms around the room.
I wrote that he has a bulbous protuberance in front and in back of him.
So as the camera zooms around the room, that we see that the other side of the helmet he's wearing is a face mask, but that mask is filled with nails. I don't want that.
It doesn't look like a good time.
No. He's in some sort of like industrial type room. There's a TV in the corner. And then we can see that the contraption or device that he's hooked up to is hooked up to a string of some sort. Is Billy the name of the...
Yes, Billy the puppet.
Okay. Billy the puppet appears on TV. He calls the man Michael and tells him he wants to play a game. I put, yay!
Hooray, games are fun!
Billy tells Michael that so far in his life, he's been an informant and a rat. In order to live, he's going to have to look inward instead of outward. The device around his neck is called a death mask, and it's on a spring timer and will close like a Venus flytrap if he does not find the key. I'd want to find the key.
I would want to find the key ASAP.
Yeah. So then on the TV, Billy shows, I guess Billy or Jigsaw.
Oh, and I like that Jigsaw told him, think of it like a Venus flytrap.
Yes.
That was good imagery.
I put that. I said like a Venus flytrap.
I really like that.
You just wanted to reiterate it.
I just wanted to say how much I liked it.
Oh.
Because it was good.
Billy or Jigsaw shows Michael a video of Michael conscious on a table about 2 hours earlier. We can see a man doing something to Michael's face, but not really. Jigsaw tells him he'll give him a hint to where the key is. It's right before your eyes.
And then
I put, it's in his eye. He's going to have to pull it out of his eye. We're not 5 minutes in and I'm ready to quit already.
Yeah, and they show the x-ray and you're like, yep, that's buried in your face.
Yep. Then there's lots of quick shots again. They do that a lot in these movies, and like I get why they do it because it makes you
kind of disoriented.
Yes, but it's also super annoying.
Yeah, especially when they start getting later in the movie and you're like, okay, just stop.
Yes.
We've already seen it. Just quit it.
It's not making it more scary. Because later in the movie, they use it like they're trying to scare you with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not scary.
No, it's just annoying by that point.
Yeah.
I kind of like it at the beginning to like set up the,
yes.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like what's happening.
To set the mood, I get it. Michael's frustrated, so he pulls on the wire that's attached to his mask, setting off a timer for 1 minute. On the floor, he finds a toolbox containing only a scalpel. He rushes to the mirror and attempts to make himself cut the key out, but he can't force himself to do it.
Do you think you could?
I don't know.
Like if you knew that thing was going to snap shut, but you had to like...
I think I could.
Cut into your eye?
I think I could.
I don't know if I could. I think I'd probably just lay down and be like, man, I hope this mask doesn't hurt.
So he can't force himself to do it. He cries for help, begs and pleads, but the timer hits 0 and the mask clamps over his head. His eyes go very wide before he topples over and a pool of blood collects under his head.
He's real dead.
He's dead. And then we get Saw 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
No, stop it.
Now we cut to new kid on the block, heartthrob, Donnie Wahlberg.
Not heartthrob.
Oh no, he was the bad boy.
He was the bad boy.
Yeah, because he's a Wahlberg.
Yeah.
They're bad boys.
They are.
And he's walking down a hallway that is very narrow and cluttered. Superior Electronics is written on a lot of signs in the hallway, and he turns down a police radio on his belt, so I think we can assume that he is a cop.
Mm-hmm.
He walks into an office and talks to a security guard, saying that he's here to pick up Daniel Matthews. Donnie is led to a room with a shifty-looking teen who's looking kind of worried. So he picks up the teen and gets some attitude from him. And now we're walking along a pier where Donnie Wahlberg tells his son, hot twist,
Oh, it's a son?
that the store is going to press charges against Daniel for shoplifting. Then he tells him, your mother gets to keep custody. I get to take you into custody. I like that line. So Donnie is a cop, and Daniel is a delinquent.
Yes.
And they argue a little bit, and Daniel tells Donnie that he's a better cop than a dad.
Burn.
That would probably hurt.
Yeah.
So Donnie loses his cool, and he yells at him, and he tells Daniel to leave, and Daniel's like, fine, go hang out with Mom.
Yeah.
Cut back to Donnie Wahlberg at home, and he's sitting next to his bed, drinking a beer, having a smoke, so we know that he's in it. He's feeling things.
Yeah.
He tries to call his kid, but he only gets voicemail. Then someone calls him, and it appears that he's being called out to a crime scene. In a couple of quick cuts, he gets his suit jacket and then walks out of his room and into the crime scene with one of those clever scene swipes like we saw in the original.
It was a really good transition.
Like, this was every bit as good as the Danny Glover car one.
Yes. Donnie's apartment is very sad.
It doesn't look good. It kind of looks like somewhere that John Doe would have put someone in Saw. Or not Saw, 7.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to stash him in here for a while.
It's not a homey atmosphere.
I got the feeling that it was at like one of those no-tell motels
Yes.
that you can rent for like $10 an hour.
Rent by the month.
So at the crime scene, another detective fills in Donnie Wahlberg. I just have Donnie W in all my notes.
I just write Donnie. His name's Donnie.
She fills him in on the scene while another man talks on a flip phone in the background. It's so old. And the detective sergeant lady tells Donnie that the building is abandoned, but asbestos removal people found the body. The body was that of one of Donnie's informants. She's kind of cryptic, and it seems like she wants Donnie to experience the whole shock of the scene for himself.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm not going to fill you in on too much. Just walk in there and see.
I just want you to see for yourself.
So he goes into the room, and we see some more quick cuts of the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie confirms that this dead body is his informant, Mike. He looks over the body for a bit and finds a trademark jigsaw piece cut out of the victim. He looks at the sergeant and asks why she didn't tell him about it being a jigsaw kill. And she looks really pleased with herself.
Yeah.
Like, I tricked you. And then she tells him that she thought he would want to see it for himself. She kind of sucks.
Yes. The dynamic of their relationship is... It's weird.
Yeah. So, it seems like they've dealt with jigsaw kills before, and they start discussing possible suspects. And then Donnie gets fed up and he decides to leave, but the sergeant lady calls him back in by saying, "Look closer, Detective Matthews." He comes back in and she shows him that look closer line wasn't hers. Someone painted it on the ceiling. So instead of just calling him and saying, "Hey, we possibly have one of your informants here that was murdered. Can you come down and ID him?" Also, they called you out specifically, so maybe be careful on your way in.
And we think it might be Jigsaw.
Yeah. No, she didn't do any of that.
No, she wants to be cryptic.
She just decided to play stupid little head games with a guy who's obviously very overworked and stressed out.
Yes.
So, yeah, she sucks.
She does.
Now we cut to an office in the police station, and the sergeant lady is watching the Billy the Puppet video and taking some notes. It felt very familiar.
Really?
Yeah, because I was watching Billy the Puppet video and taking notes.
Their police station is also very disgusting.
Everything in this movie is so ghetto.
Yeah.
Detective Matthews comes in, and he's pissy with her, and he tells her that she shouldn't play games like that with him. Blah, blah, blah. I have a mouth. We get some backstory on Detective Matthews now. He's going through a divorce currently. He's played by Donnie Wahlberg. His kid is acting up. He has a big case backlog, and he used to be partners with Carrie, the sergeant lady, and he doesn't seem to want any part of the Jigsaw stuff.
No.
She grabs his arm and almost begs him to help her on the case, and he tells her that she's the jigsaw expert. So I'm starting to get the feeling there's a very complicated past between these two.
I said she grabbed his arm rather coworker-y.
Yeah. So now Donnie is in bed with flashes of the crime scene dancing through his mind, and he remembers seeing a Wilson Steel logo stamped into the death mask device. We get more quick cuts of a SWAT team talking about entrance points to the Wilson Steel building, and then more quick cuts of them getting ready and arriving on the scene.
I was very confused here because I thought it was a flashback at this point.
Oh no, this was like part flashback and then all flash forward.
Yes. But like there was no transition there. It was just like...
Yeah, there was. There were quick cuts.
It went from him like going through crime scenes to, oh, now we're in the present.
Yeah. I'm going through old crime scenes. No, I'm not. I'm at a new crime scene.
Yeah. I said, then we get a flashback, or maybe not a flashback.
It could be one of the two. So Carrie and Donnie accompany the SWAT team, but they have to hang back.
Yeah. They don't have their super cool... Oh, no, they do have their vests on, don't they?
They have vests, but they don't get helmets.
That's true. At the location, the team enters with force and starts clearing out the factory. We get shots of Jigsaw eating some cereal?
Cereal or soup?
Soup,
or,
something.
I like to think maybe it's some cream of wheat.
Ooh. He looks super sickly. So we assume he's in the building that they're in and who they're after. Alpha Team leads the way. They cut the padlock off a cage that's covering the next set of stairs. And when they enter, the cage seems to hum with electricity. And we see a tripwire on one of the stairs, and the officer's boot just barely misses it. Billy rides up, Billy the puppet.
Yeah, he rides up and he's like,
He rides up on a tricycle and laughs at the officers. Then the cage door closes from behind them, trapping them inside. The tripwire is hit. And then I'm not really sure what happens. Does that stair fall out from under him?
Yeah, the stair falls out from under him, and I think there was a device that comes and like I don't know if it cuts off the bottoms of his legs.
I think it just like broke his shin.
Yeah. It's not really clear.
Yeah. The rest of the officers get zapped with electricity. So then the, I guess, beta team?
Maybe.
The rest of the team comes to help.
The Billy team.
The Billy team! They approach Jigsaw's lair. They see lots of contraptions and blueprints. And then they round a corner and they see Jigsaw sitting at a table. They order him to get on his knees, to which he replies, "I can't do that."
Sorry, bro.
And then we get a bunch of quick shots of his IV bag and machine, all the pills on the shelves behind him. It's pretty clear he's sick. So they read him his rights and handcuff him. Donnie approaches Jigsaw and says, "Is this close enough?"
Oh, man, and he's really chomping that gum. He is so cocky and in charge.
But he's smug and feels accomplished. Jigsaw says that he has to stay put while Donnie deals with the problem in the next room. Carrie, Donnie, and then the head SWAT guy approach a cage. It's filled with machines and a table that's covered by a blanket.
Yeah. And when they walk into it, you hear a bunch of machinery
Yes.
start up. So you're like, uh-oh.
Something electric's in here. Donnie lifts the blanket, revealing security cameras underneath. And on the screen, we see several people who seem to be locked in a room. Donnie recognizes one of them.
Who is it?
As his son.
No!
Oh my gosh.
Not Daniel.
Yes. So Donnie tails it to Jigsaw to find out where his son is. And Jigsaw says that that's what he'll have to find out. Sorry, that was a weird sentence.
There were a whole bunch of that's.
And he has about 2 hours until the gas in the room begins to break down the tissue in his body, and he starts to bleed from every orifice. And then he says, "Oh yes, there will be blood."
And Tobin Bell is so perfect for this role.
Yes. I put, it's creepy, and Jigsaw looks very pleased with himself.
And he gets a twinkle in his eyes when he says it. And he has kind of a little wry smile.
Well, it's like, it brought a little life back to him.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like a corpse, and then it was like, oh, I've got a little pep.
And he's oddly charming.
Yes.
but in the most horrible way possible.
He's very Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you want to like him.
And I do. But
Yeah.
what does that say about me?
I don't know, but I mean, they're nice gentlemen. A clock reveals that it's 7:30, so now we know what time it is. They got till 9:30.
2 hours isn't a lot of time.
It's not. So Donnie returns back to the cage with the monitors. He attempts to call his son, but it goes directly to voicemail. And the greeting has been changed by Jigsaw, confirming that he does, in fact, have Donnie's son. The SWAT guy notices something counting down time, and then he requests a bomb squad. Donnie cries a single tear while watching his son on the monitor.
1 tear. That's the mark of a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
Or just a drop of nitro under the eye. Now we cut to inside the room that we saw on the monitors. Several different people are in the room, and they're in various states of panic. There's a woman on the floor, like face down, and it looks like maybe her wrists are bandaged.
Mm-hmm.
There's a man trying to rouse her, and he says she's still breathing. One of the other people in the room asks if this is some kind of jail, but the man trying to rouse the floor lady seems to know all about jail. He's like, no, this isn't jail, man.
Yeah.
And a lady pounds on the big steel door and screams for someone to let them out. And another one of the room people says there's no one listening. Then the girl from Seventh Heaven points to a camera and says, someone is listening. But Daniel tells her, nah, those cameras don't record sound.
They're just watching us.
So a suit-wearing man is starting to freak out, and he and a muscly man, they have a little back and forth about waking up somewhere and not knowing where you are. And Muscle Man says, I guess you've never been drunk before. And Suit Man says, this isn't drunk, this is kidnapping. And then there's a dramatic sting, and the camera flashes around at the shocked faces of everyone in the room. So Muscle Man wants to take action, and everyone in the room's kind of starting to bicker.
Mm-hmm.
And then a salmon-colored shirt lady hears ticking from behind the big steel door. Just then, Floor Lady comes to and gasps a lot.
Mm-hmm. She scares everybody.
Yeah.
She's like a fish that just caught.
She's
Yeah.
And she checks her head for something and then vomits on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And Nice Guy comes up and tries to calm her down. He asks what her name is, and she says, it's Amanda. We met her.
We did.
We saw her in the first movie. She had a sad mouth.
Yeah.
So Nice Guy tells her that no one knows where they are, and they all just woke up here, just like her. She flips out and she screams, and she tears down a shitty old curtain in anger, and then she starts beating on a safe in the middle of the room and starts kind of tearing things apart like she's looking for things.
Yeah.
She pulls out some bricks out of a bricked-up fireplace and finds a micro cassette recorder. Nice Guy asks her what it is, and she says, everything you need to know is on this tape. She hits play, and we hear Jigsaw's voice say, greetings and welcome. I trust that you're all wondering where you are. I can assure you that while your location is not important, what these walls offer for you is important. Salvation if you earn it. 3 hours from now, the door to this house will open. Unfortunately, you only have 2 hours to live. Right now, you're breathing in a deadly nerve agent. You've been breathing it since you arrived here. Those of you who are familiar with the Tokyo subway attacks will know its devastating effects on the human body. Dun dun dun.
I don't want that.
The only way to overcome it and walk out that door is to find an antidote. Several are hidden around this house. One is inside the safe in front of you. You all possess the combination to the safe. Think hard. The numbers are in the back of your mind. The clues to their order can be found over the rainbow.
Oh.
Once you realize what you all have in common, you will have a better understanding of why you're all here. X marks the spot for that clue. So look carefully. Let the game begin. So, while Jigsaw is laying down what's going on the tape, the camera is showing us the trapped people's reactions. They all look scared, but Muscle Man looks scared and angry.
Oh, that's the worst combination.
So Nice Guy takes the recorder from Amanda and starts asking her questions about what's going on. Amanda sits down and looks scared. Muscle Man finds a note on the floor with a key inside of it, but the note says do not try to use the key on the door to this room, and he says, fuck this, man. And then he goes to the door with the key. Businessman likes this plan.
Mm-hmm.
So Amanda's trying to tell them not to use the key, but Muscle Man tells her that it's just a joke and he's going to end it. He puts the key in the lock and Businessman looks through a peephole in the door. Muscle Man turns the key and we see on the other side of the door a large revolver is rigged up to the peephole. As the key is turned, it activates a trigger device on the gun and fires it right into Businessman's eye.
Ew.
Blood and gore sprays all over Seventh Heaven Girl.
Yeah.
She is not happy about it.
No, she's covered in not just blood, but chunks.
Yeah, she got the chunky parts.
Yeah.
So she's not happy about the blood and gore. Everyone else is freaked out, and we see Businessman's dead body fall on the floor, and he has a large exit wound in the back of his head. Nice Guy grabs Amanda and slams her against the wall and tells her that she needs to start talking right now. Amanda tells them that this is a game and he is just testing us. She says Jigsaw. A couple of people don't know who that is, and Salmon Shirt Lady says that Jigsaw is a serial killer. Now Amanda has to jump in. She's kind of offended by this.
She's very offended by it.
She's like, no, Jigsaw's not a serial killer. He wants everybody to survive his games. But you have to play by the fucking rules. So just play by the rules.
She's not wrong.
Yeah. He's never killed anybody.
No.
And everyone looks very scared. And then Nice Guy asks Amanda again how she knows all of this. We flash back to her in the reverse bear trap from the first movie, and there's a loud scream as a stinger. And that scream actually gets me sometimes.
Really?
Like I forget it's coming, and then I'm like, whoa. And she tells him that she's played the game before.
Dun, dun, dun.
But that's good news for them because she's still alive.
Yeah.
See? It is winnable.
She followed the rules. Back at Jigsaw's lair, Donnie confronts Jigsaw and demands to know what he wants from him. Jigsaw replies, "Just a little of your time, detective." Jigsaw's conditions are that he gets to talk to Donnie alone. Everyone else must leave the area. If you agree to that, you will see your son again. So Donnie walks back over to the cage to fill Carrie and SWAT guy in. Carrie tells him that the tech team is on the way and that they should have a location in an hour or two. I said, okay, but 2 isn't going to do you much good.
No.
And then they all discuss whether or not Donnie should submit to Jigsaw's request. Donnie says he doesn't want to talk to him, but Carrie tells him, you already lost your son once because you got involved with me. Oh, so now we know.
I think they did it.
There's some backstory there.
I think Donnie Wahlberg was unfaithful.
You think so?
I think he was doing bad things with his partner.
Maybe. Carrie pleads with him to talk to Jigsaw, if nothing else to buy them some more time. She's convinced they can beat him.
And I like that the SWAT guy is like, nah, let's go old school method. Just beat the shit out of him.
Yes, he would shut everything off, get everybody out of there, and just beat the shit out of Jigsaw.
And Carrie's like, yeah, you're not really going to get very far with that.
No. So back inside the house, Amanda and Muscle Man are tearing the place apart looking for an antidote. Daniel covers the dead businessman's head with a shirt or something. I don't know if it's the dude's jacket.
I think it was his coat.
Okay. So then you call him Nice Guy. I call him Streetwise Dude.
Nice streetwise guy dude.
Is listening to the tape again. Suddenly the bolted door opens on its own. On the other side of the door, we see that a timer has gone off. Muscle Man takes the lead and makes it out of the room first. And he finds Lucille, which if you're not a Walking Dead fan, is a big old bat with nails sticking out of it.
Yeah, and these nails are big.
Yes. He grabs her and tells the others he's going to find an antidote and get out. So Streetwise Dude tells him maybe they should just slow down and come up with a game plan. Amanda is checking every nook and cranny of the door and of the rest of the house. Lucy, Seventh Heaven Girl, that's not really her name's Lucy on Seventh Heaven, so that's what I went with.
Oh.
I think her name's Laura in this.
I think so, but I don't think we ever hear it.
But I just call her Lucy. It's confusing.
Well, they
don't give you anybody's names.
Yeah. You get Daniel, Amanda, and then I think later you get Xavier.
Yeah, you get Xavier's. Lucy is the last to leave the room because she's obviously the most traumatized.
And I think she's also feeling the effects more than everybody else of the gas.
I don't know. I put I think we're supposed to believe she's weak. I don't know.
Maybe she didn't eat lunch that day.
Oh, maybe. The sassy brunette starts kind of coughing up some blood. And then the junkie guy's over in the corner, and he's just straightening pictures on the wall.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. He's like, man, look at this shitty house, but my OCD won't let me have that picture be crooked.
In the foyer, Muscle Man's streetwise dude, Daniel, and sassy brunette see a double door with exit written across it in red paint. Muscle Man decides he's going to use the key from earlier to try to unlock the door. The others warn him against it, but he attempts very carefully by keeping his head as low as he can so it doesn't get blown off.
It would have been funny if while he was doing it, it was just a trap door underneath him and it just like sucked him down into the floor.
But the key doesn't work, and in frustration, he throws it on the ground. You're supposed to say, throw it on the ground.
And I threw it on the ground. But did he say happy birthday to the ground?
We see Streetwise Dude pick up the key and put it in his pocket.
Because he's streetwise. And he's probably played like Resident Evil.
He knows.
He's like, no, that's going to come in handy.
You collect the tools on the way.
So back at Jigsaw's hideout, Donnie is no longer swearing. And his... What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Edit that out. Matthews is no longer wearing his bulletproof vest or his badge, and he storms over to Jigsaw's table. He tells the other cops to leave them alone, and he sits down. But he has a walkie-talkie on his belt behind his back so the other cops can hear.
He's so sneaky.
Jigsaw tells him, I want to play a game. The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me. Listen to me. If you do that long enough, you'll find your son in a safe and secure state. While he's saying this, Matthews takes the walkie-talkie off his belt and sets it on the floor very... Oh, you didn't see what I just did.
He's pulling a quick one.
Now we can hear Jigsaw's voice coming out of the walkie-talkie in the security monitor room where Carrie and SWAT guy are. Jigsaw introduces himself to Matthews as John. I just called him Matthews. Ew. His name's Donnie. So Donnie thought he liked to be called Jigsaw. Jigsaw tells him that the media and the cops named him that. He never claimed it. The Jigsaw piece he carves from his subjects was just a symbol that they were missing something, a vital piece of the human puzzle, the survival instinct.
I kind of liked that.
I did too. I like Jigsaw.
Yeah. I like that it was symbolic rather than just like, oh, I'm going to...
This is my calling card.
Or even like, I'm going to take all these pieces and make a puzzle.
Ew, can you imagine? Like, he takes them home and, like, dehydrates them, and then he's like, I'm making a puzzle.
Exactly.
So, Jigsaw knows all the interrogation tactics, and then he reveals that he knows a lot about Donnie Wahlberg. It appears that he may have been in the NKOTB fan club years ago. He knows that Donnie is not a kind man, and when he was a beat cop, he would do some violent stuff. So Jigsaw asks him for a glass of water and then says, I would very much appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And then he waggles the glass at him like, come on, give me what I want, buddy.
Yeah.
And Donnie gives in, but he gives him a strange look. And so he grabs the cup and he goes to get some water. Now we're back at the really run-down, yucky house. But I bet it was really cool back in its day.
Well, yeah.
Muscle Man is beating on the door with his special spiked Lucille bat, and Daniel's sitting on the steps that go upstairs. Muscle Man breaks down the door and then finds that it's barricaded behind the wood of the door. Salmon Shirt Lady looks pleased and says, well, we've established that the macho bullshit approach isn't going to open the door. I liked that,
but his response was totally uncalled for.
Oh, yeah. He fires back and at her with, the only door you know how to open is between your legs.
But whoa. There better be some backstory to this comment. There's not.
No.
He just made that comment.
Yeah, he's just an ass face.
He deserves a slapping.
Salmon Shirt Lady and Muscle Man, they start to get in each other's faces, but Nice Guy breaks them up, and Amanda turns on a light switch that nobody else decided to try. I don't know if I'd be walking around like flipping any light switches
I
here.
would not, no.
Now Nice Guy coughs a couple of times, so the gas is affecting him too.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda and Seventh Heaven Girl didn't find anything, and now Muscle Man gets his turn to cough. Nice Guy recognizes Muscle Man's tattoo as a prison tat from Joliet. Nice Guy did a stretch there too, and he asked Salmon Shirt Lady where she went to prison, and he thinks that might be their common thread. Then Seventh Heaven Girl finds a door that goes to the basement. They go downstairs behind Muscle Man and Lucille. They see someone in a wheelchair with their head on a table, and Nice Guy pulls his head up, and it appears to either be a dead person or a dummy with a face painted. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
We didn't really get clarification on that.
It looked like a real person with a mask on, but not really.
Yeah, or it could be a dummy.
Like the eye looked real, but only one.
Yeah. And there's a note stabbed into the dummy dead body's chest, and the note is addressed to Obby. And I like that they're like, what the fuck is an Obby? And then Crackhead Guy says, Obby, that's my name.
Because they say Obi.
Yeah, because it's spelled like Obi-Wan.
It should be Obi.
Daniel finds a light switch now, too. And strange hoodie-wearing man, the one who hasn't spoken yet, that owns up to being named Obby, he grabs the envelope, and Muscle Man snags it from Nice Guy, and then he rips it open, and he puts the tape in the recorder, and we hear Jigsaw's voice say, "Hello, Obby, I want to play a game. For years you've burned those around you with your lies, cons, and deceits. Now you have a chance to redeem yourself for the games you've played with others by playing one of mine. Inside the device in front of you, there are 2 antidotes for the poison coursing through your veins. One is my gift to you for helping me kidnap the others."
Oh, snap.
Uh-oh. The second is yours to donate. However, one of them will come with a price. Remember, Obby, once you're in hell, only the devil can help you out. So while the tape's playing, Obby is walking around this big furnace thing in the middle of the room.
It's like
It looks almost like a crematorium.
Yeah, now that you say that, that is what it reminds me of. It's like, because it's almost like an oven.
Kind of like an oven or an iron lung.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
And he's knocking on it, and he's like playing with levers on the outside of it. Like, ooh, this thing looks amusing.
Mm-hmm.
And when the tape is over, people want answers about him helping bring them all there. Seventh Heaven Girl remembers him from her abduction.
Oh, no.
She got in her car, and he chloroformed her, as we find out in a nice flashback.
Mm-hmm.
So Nice Guy confronts Obby, and he says that he was forced to kidnap them. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to.
He says they all would have done the same thing.
So Jigsaw had something on him.
Mm-hmm.
Muscle Man grabs the knife from the body dummy thing and tells him that he has 5 seconds to get them all out of there. And Obby says, I don't really know the way out. I just helped get you to somebody. I didn't really bring you in here.
Mm-hmm.
So now the whole group decides that they're going to let Obby go into the furnace thingy and get the antidotes. And they're all looking kind of rough now. And Seventh Heaven Girl collapses. Muscle Man puts the knife to Obby's throat and tells him that he's going to go in there and he's going to get the antidotes. Obby grabs the back of the knife and drags the blade over his throat, cutting himself a little. So he's kind of a psycho.
I had to watch it twice to make sure that's what happened, because I was like, what the fuck?
And I didn't write it down here, but doesn't he say, if you're going to threaten me with a knife, you might as well cut me a little?
Yes.
Something to that effect?
Something along those lines.
So Obby agrees to go get the needles, but he says he gets one of them. So he crawls into the oven furnace thingy. He grabs a needle suspended from the ceiling. When he grabs the second one, it triggers a trap. The door to the furnace swings shut and locks. Then fire starts at the door end of the furnace. Muscle Man tries to get the door open, but he can't. Obby crawls to the back of the furnace where there's a window. There's a valve inside the flames with a devil painted next to it. So he's going to have to crawl through those flames to turn off the gas. But he's going to get burned.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he pounds on the window and screams a lot, while Nice Guy and Muscle Man repeatedly burn themselves trying to open the door.
Yes.
Muscle Man gets smart and uses his bat to smash the window at the back. And this whole time, Obby's just screaming.
Yeah.
And Seventh Heaven girl is like, make it stop, quit it.
She's also screaming and crying and whining.
I don't like her.
No.
So Abby comes out of the window, but he can only fit about a quarter of the way out before he gets stuck. He screams a lot more, and then he burns to death, and the camera goes all slow motion and shows the reactions of all the other captives in a really cheap and stupid shot.
Yes.
So after all this happens, Amanda grabs a big metal shovel thing off a shelf and just heads back upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm done with this. And Muscle Man's like, I want the fucking needles.
Yes.
And Nice Guy's like, dude, the needle's burned up.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
It's over.
Like, even if the needles are still there, whatever was inside them is probably not going to work.
Well, if you were in this place, do you think, like, well, I guess Amanda's there. Like, you got to play by the rules. He wants you to survive this. But do you think you could inject yourself with something you found in that house?
I don't know that I would do it immediately.
But, like, once you started feeling the
But
effects of the
I'm
gas.
like, I'm going to die. Like, what
do I have to lose at this point?
exactly. Like, if what's in there kills me, I'm dying it already.
But then I'd be wondering, like, is this intramuscular or intravenous? Like, where do I need to put it?
Yeah.
There's just a lot to think about with injections.
It is. Back at the lair, SWAT dude gives Carrie a hard time because now 2 people have died. He thinks that the tech team isn't getting there quickly enough. John tells Donnie that the human species has lost its will to survive. Survival of the fittest no longer applies. Donnie gets frustrated, asking John what it is he wants. You said you wanted to talk, then you said you wanted to play a game. You're talking, but it means nothing. After asking, Donnie tells John the cure for cancer probably isn't murdering people for your own sick pleasure.
I like that because he's like, do you know the cure for cancer?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's probably not fucking murdering people.
Yeah. And John says that he's never murdered anyone. The decisions are up to the people. John asks Donnie why he's so desperate to get his son back. What was the last thing you said to him? And then we get a flashback of Donnie yelling in Daniel's face to go. And John ponders why it's only when someone's life is at stake do we choose to forgive their sins and wipe their slate clean.
It's pretty good.
It is. Then we see a flashback of John. He's looking a little healthier.
Yeah, he has a little pep in his step. He's got some color in his skin.
Yeah.
He's wearing nice clothing instead of weird robes.
Yeah. So we see him going into Dr. Lawrence's office.
Hey, we know him.
Yes. So then we assume that this is when he gets his cancer diagnosis and we see the aftermath. John tells Donnie.
Johnny tells Don.
I have that problem. John tells Donnie how knowing your death is impending changes things. You look at things differently. You savor everything, whether it be a glass of water or a walk in the park. At this point, I thought there was something going on with this glass of water.
I didn't.
Really?
No. I think he was just using it as like an illustration. Like, see, I'm enjoying this glass of water. And you wouldn't appreciate it.
You got it for me. He says the irony of not knowing when you will die keeps everyone from actually living. It keeps them all sleepwalking. Donnie pleads that they can still fix all of this, but John says, no, I have cancer. There's no fixing me. He tells Donnie about trying to end his own life by driving off of a cliff. But it didn't work. He got impaled in the gut.
Yeah. And he pulls the big, huge piece of metal out of him.
Yes. And I was like, at this point, if you really wanted to die, just lay down, buddy.
Yeah. I like what he says here, too. My body had not been strong enough to repel cancer cells, yet I had lived through a plunge off of a cliff.
Yes. I liked that.
I was like, oh, you're a little poet there.
But obviously he went and sought out medical attention.
Maybe. I mean, he's a smart guy. Maybe he just did it on his own.
But he tried to save himself then if you're trying to end your life.
Yeah, but it was the moment of realization that he'd lived
through
the attempt that he was like, oh, maybe I have a purpose.
I gotcha. After this, John swore to use his last days to test a notion. Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve it. Donnie argues that his son appreciates his life. And John questions him, but do you appreciate yours? Do you appreciate your son's life? Donnie is frustrated and walks away, as John reminds him to play by the rules.
Donnie ignores him, and he just continues storming off while the SWAT guys come back in to guard Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they really need to...
He's not going anywhere.
No. The timer's down to 54 minutes, and Carrie's on the phone with the tech team who says they're still 15 minutes out. On one of the security monitors, we cut back to the house with the captives. So it's kind of a cheesy way to switch the scenes, but I like it.
It works.
Like, oh, I'm looking at the security monitor, and now what's on the monitor fades into being the scene.
Yeah.
So back in the house, Daniel helps Seventh Heaven into the entryway. She passes out, but she comes back to with some shaking and says, "This is the second time I've had to wake up in this shithole."
Poor Lucy.
So Amanda's wandering around the room looking for clues, but she also seems to be keeping a pretty sharp eye on Daniel and Seventh Heaven over there.
Yes.
Seventh Heaven is having a hard time dealing with the fact that she's going to die, and Daniel comforts her, kind of. He's just like, they're there now.
It's like he's trying, but he doesn't know how.
Yeah. So then he asks Amanda how she survived and how they can survive together. He asks why she was chosen, and she says it's because she was a junkie. So we get some quick flashbacks to her shooting some Hollywood. Heroin.
Yeah.
Shooting Hollywood.
I got it.
Yeah. And Daniel asks why she's back in the Jigsaw game if she passed the test. And Amanda reveals that she, quote, wasn't being good to herself.
Mm-hmm.
We flash back to a scene of her cutting her wrists with a razor blade. He notices the track marks on her arms and asks how long she's been using. And she says that she started in jail after being arrested for possession. Daniel's confused by this, and he asks how she could be busted for possession if she didn't start using until she was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
She says, ask the cop who planted it on me.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Amanda asks Daniel if he was ever arrested, and he says he's gotten into some trouble in the past, but his dad is and then he trails off and says, a real hard ass.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda's head whips around towards him when he's about to say that his dad is a cop.
Yeah.
She looks at him like, I know what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
She looks a little disappointed when he says the hard ass comment. And he says that his dad probably has half the city out looking for him just so he can kick his ass for disappearing on him. Then Nice Guy pops up out of nowhere, and he gives us a little jump scare. And he says they found a door. And he's out of breath. He's looking rough. Seventh Heaven, Daniel, and Amanda all follow him. And Seventh Heaven seems like she's about at death's door.
Yeah, she's not doing hot.
And Daniel's half carrying her. And Nice Guy tells them that the door that they found is the only one without a lock, but they can't get it open. Salmon Shirt Lady and Muscle Man argue again, and then Muscle Man coughs up blood, and that motivates him to try harder to open the door.
I'm dying.
So Amanda tells him if the door's stuck, it's a trap, and Muscle Man tells her the whole house is a trap. Touché, Muscle Man, touché. So he pushes the door open a few inches, and we can see that the door is rigged to a pulley system that goes to a steel safe type door. When he pushes the door open fully, the pulley activates a timer on the door, and this timer starts counting down from 3 minutes. And then it focuses on a gross air vent in the room that looks like it has diarrhea coming out of it.
Yeah.
So Nice Guy finds an envelope for someone named Xavier. He pops the tape from the envelope into the player, and Jigsaw's voice on the tape tells us that Muscle Man is Xavier, and he's a drug dealer. In this game, he will have to crawl into the same squalor that he puts his customers through in order to get a key to the safe door. The safe does have an antidote in it, but if he doesn't get the key in time, the door will lock forever. And I was like, maybe have one person look for the key and have somebody else try to break down that shitty plaster wall and see if you can just get around. That's just the way I think. But
yeah.
So while the tape is playing, Daniel finds a pit of needles hiding under a bed in the middle of the room. And it's a shitload of needles.
It's a lot.
And Jigsaw tells Xavier that finding the key will be like finding a needle in a haystack. And then he chuckles like he made a great dad joke. There's only 1 minute left on the timer, and Xavier says somebody's going to go in there and get that key for him.
Yeah.
So he picks up Amanda and just throws her in the pit.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And everybody else in the room is like, for real?
Yeah.
So syringes are sticking in her and they're breaking under her weight. And she just starts digging through the needles and screaming.
Ugh.
And the timer's at 30 seconds. And for some reason, she's fighting like hell to find this key.
Yeah.
Like she's throwing the needles everywhere.
She's trying.
I would have just been like, fuck you. You threw me down in the needle pit. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do this for you. Daniel wants to help Amanda, but nobody else seems interested in that idea.
No.
And Amanda is clawing and screaming in the pit until she finds the key. She just hands it to Xavier, who goes over to the door and with about 5 seconds left, but he drops the key on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he picks it back up and gets it into the lock, the door locks forever.
Oh, no. He was like 1 second too late.
Poor Xavier. He's sad now.
Yeah.
But why be sad when you could be mad?
That's how you process your feelings.
Yeah. So he charges at Amanda like he's going to beat the shit out of her, but Nice Guy stops him. And Xavier gets a tough... He gets tough with Nice Guy and Salmon Shirt Lady, and she's like screaming at everybody. She's like, okay, just stop. Just shut the fuck up. So Daniel helps pull Amanda out of the pit, and then he's pulling the needles out of her too.
Yeah.
That's not a fun job.
No.
So Salmon Shirt Lady refers back to the tape that they just heard and says that Jigsaw knows who they are and how they're all connected. Seventh Heaven speaks up and says that she too has been in trouble with the law. Nice Guy wants to get to the bottom of the puzzle, but Xavier stomps away and he says they're all holding him back. So now we cut back to the hideout. Oh, and we cut back through the security monitor again.
Mm-hmm.
And Donnie is not happy that the tech team is taking so long. SWAT guy wants to take some action, but Carrie says they have to play the game to get the answers. There's only 30 minutes left on the timer. Carrie notices Jigsaw's blueprints and drawings, and she thinks that might be the way to get to him. So she tells Donnie to threaten to destroy Jigsaw's work. Donnie looks a little defeated, but then he looks determined.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some quick cuts between him looking defeated, standing behind some chain link.
Yeah.
And then in between, there's like quick cuts of him grabbing the chain link and screaming.
It's weird.
I don't understand it. It was more like a music video than a scene in a movie.
Yes.
So Donnie tears some blueprints off the wall and he throws them down in front of Jigsaw. Then he tears some of them up, and Jigsaw does not look impressed.
No.
He's like, all right. I mean, they came from my brain. I'm sure I can probably just draw some more.
Well, actually, he tells them, he's like, you'll never be able to convict me if you destroy all the evidence.
Yeah, I liked that. And then Donnie threatens him, saying, you kill my son, I kill you. And Jigsaw replies with, go ahead. Why wait? We know the sort of person you are. The sort of person who guns down an unarmed suspect. In fact, the sort of person who plants evidence in order to obtain conviction. The sort of person whose wife leaves him and son hates him. Jigsaw's digging.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Yeah.
So then John directs whoever is listening on the radio, how did he know there was a radio?
Because he's the smartest man alive.
I know.
Way smarter than Billy Madison.
He directs them to a file in a desk. The file contains a file. The file contains a file of everyone in the house.
It's like a file of dossiers.
Yes. All of the people in the house are people he put away by planting fake evidence. And then I put, so his son is in a house filled with people who hate his dad.
Not a good time.
Fun.
And I like how he put it. What did he say? Your son is playing a game with a lot of dangerous people who don't like you very much, detective.
Yes. Xavier returns back to the original room where they started. When he's walking by, he accidentally uncovers the business dude's head. So he kneels back down over him to replace the coat, and he sees a red number on the back of his neck. And then he remembers what Jigsaw told him, that the numbers were in the back of their heads.
The numbers are all written on the backs of their necks.
Yes. So Streetwise Dude enters the room, puking up his insides.
Yeah, and it sounds really gross.
It's chunky.
It puts me through it.
Yeah. And he tells Xavier that they should work together. He has enemies on the outside that will go after his family if they can't find him. Xavier doesn't give a fuck and just tells him to turn around. Streetwise Dude doesn't like this idea, so they start fighting. And Streetwise Dude is just like kicking Xavier's ass.
Yeah. Muscle isn't as good as brain.
No. He like smashes his head into the side of the safe. But then he gets overworked.
Yeah, he gets overstimulated.
Yes, and he has to stop to start puking again. Xavier uses this opportunity to slam Lucille into the back of his head. So Streetwise falls to the ground.
Oh, and he turns around and the bat is just sticking out of the back of his head. And I don't know why that's so like visceral for me.
Because you can feel it.
But just like him turning and the bat staying there.
Yes.
I was just like, ew.
So Xavier turns him over and finds the numbers on the back of his neck. Now the rest of the group are roaming through the halls. Lucy is actively dying.
I don't think she has very long to go at this point.
No, she's just like laying in the corner, dying. And then she just goes, X marks the spot.
And I'm pretty sure those are her last words. Aren't they?
They might be. Yeah, I think they are. When Lucy says the X marks the spot, there's a picture frame with an X clearly cracked into it. So then Sassy flips over the picture and she finds a Polaroid photo on the back. Well, maybe it's not a Polaroid. I think it's just a photo.
But you can shake it like a Polaroid picture.
It's a photo of Donnie and Daniel. Uh-oh. Sassy tells Daniel that his father set her up and put her away. At this point, Lucy starts to have a seizure and then just dies.
Yeah. She's like, oh no, that's your dad?
Pretty much. And then after seeing the photo, Amanda says she knows what they all have in common.
Dun, dun, dun.
They never say what Lucy went away for, do they?
I think it says on her file thing when he's looking through it. I think it was like shoplifting.
Oh, maybe. Downstairs, Xavier is calling for everyone. And then he goes back down into the basement to find the number on the back of Obi's head. Amanda goes back to the original room and finds that Streetwise Dude is dead. She grabs Daniel and tells him they have to go. Xavier finds Lucy's dead body and the photo. He checks the number on the back of her head.
And I didn't understand. They just keep cutting back to Salmon Shirt Lady stumbling down hallways.
Yes.
Like, she's not doing anything.
No, she's just walking down hallways.
But I really think the editor was like, you know what would be really cool right now? A quick cut.
We got to show the pretty lady. So Xavier, Amanda, and Daniel all kind of bump into each other in the foyer. Amanda and Daniel take off running, and Xavier's chasing after them the best he can. Because, he's dying. Donnie's watching everything happen on the monitors.
And he looks like he's going to puke.
Yes. He gets upset, and he grabs his gun, and he tucks it into the back of his pants. The SWAT dude sees what he's doing and is totally okay with it.
Yeah, he's so cool with it. He's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to block the door so Carrie can't get to him.
Carrie puts up a fight, but SWAT team stops her and says, we tried it your way. So then I keep wanting to say Johnny and Dawn.
That can be our fan fiction.
Where they have a secret love affair.
Yes. They hold hands and walk through the park, appreciating it.
And drinking glasses of water.
Oh, but together.
Oh.
This time Johnny can get him a glass of water.
Donnie attacks John, demanding to know where his son is. He throws them all around his little, kitchenette area.
Yeah. It's a nice little kitchenette.
Yeah. He's just kind of beating the shit out of John. John makes a snide little comment at him, and then Donnie just calmly breaks his finger.
Yeah. He looks at him and he goes, not too long now before your son's pissing blood. And Donnie's just like, Let me see that finger.
And he breaks it. Then he punches him again, and John provokes him again, saying, now that's the Eric Matthews they gave medals to. And how did I not put it together that his name was Eric Matthews until right this moment?
Not only is he a member of NKOTB, he's also a member of the cast of Boy Meets World?
Yes. They said his name was Eric. They said his name was Matthews. I did not put it together.
Well, that's because we're just too busy thinking of him as
Donnie
W.
At the house, Amanda and Daniel are trying to find a place to hide. The sassy brunette lady is alone in the hallway, because that's what she does.
Yep, and she's always in that hallway, and they just always keep showing it.
She finds an unlocked door and enters it. In the room, a glass box is hanging from the ceiling, and we can see a syringe inside. She puts one of her hands into the opening underneath the box, and she gets her hand in, grabs the syringe, and then she drops it.
She tries to pull it up, and it's like the plunger was glued down, so when she pulls it up, the top of the chamber on the syringe comes out of the plunger, and it just spills the antidote everywhere.
So then she decides to put her other hand up the other hole, and now she's stuck. She can't pull her hands back through. The holes were like a puzzle almost.
They were like metal flaps that were all overlaid.
Yes. So that it could push up, but anytime she tries to pull down, it just cuts deeper into her skin.
Yeah, they're like big razor blades, and they're just digging into her wrists.
It's kind of like the worst Chinese finger trap ever.
Yeah. I had something in my head just now that I was going to equate it to, and it completely went away because I started thinking about how gross it is.
She starts crying for help. Xavier finds her. Look, he doesn't attempt to help her whatsoever.
No, but he does, he comes up behind her and he's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then he brushes her hair out of the way, and you're like, oh, is he going to be nice to her? Is he going to assault her?
Yeah, he's not. So pretty much he just comes in, checks the back of her head for her number, and then leaves her. So then we get another lots of quick flashes to make this look a lot scarier than it is.
Oh, yeah.
Lots and lots of them. Amanda and Daniel run into the original room, and Amanda shuts the door, locking them in. Well, trying to lock them in.
Yeah, but it doesn't lock.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they can hear the sassy brunette just screaming down the hall.
And then one thing I didn't understand right before this scene cuts out, Daniel's just looking around the room and he just goes, Amanda. And then it cuts.
Uh-huh.
And you think the next time they cut back, he was going to be
finishing a sentence.
Or pointing her attention towards something.
Oh, yeah.
But no, he just says her name and it cuts away. So now we're back with Donnie Wahlberg, and he's still beating the shit out of Jigsaw. And it looks like it's been going on for quite a long time. Jigsaw's laying on the floor. He's bloodied. He's looking even more half dead than he did before.
Yes.
When it first cut back, I thought that Donnie had given him a Macho Man Randy Savage style elbow drop because he was sitting on the floor next to him, kind of leaning over him. I'm like, please tell me they didn't cut out an elbow drop. Donnie throws away the walkie-talkie now, and he tells Jigsaw, nobody's listening anymore, asshole. And then he pulls his gun and instructs Jigsaw to open his mouth. He puts the barrel of the gun in Jigsaw's mouth and asks Jigsaw if he's ready to tell him where Daniel is. Jigsaw mumbles something against the gun, so Donnie withdraws it, and Jigsaw repeats what he says. He says, game over. I'll take you to the house. So, did Donnie just win? No.
He thinks he did.
Jigsaw says that he will only take Donnie, no one else. Jigsaw tells him how to escape the hideout, and it turns out they were in an elevator the whole time.
That's crazy.
So he pushes the button on the wall, and the elevator starts dropping just as the tech team gets to the location.
4 hours later.
Yeah. So now we get some quick cuts of Detective Donnie Matthews, NKOTB, Eric.
Their driving scenes in these movies are absolutely horrible.
They're atrocious.
I don't know if they were trying to go for the 1970s,
green screen. I don't know, but they're bad.
Yeah.
Back at the hideout, Carrie instructs the SWAT team to go to the house because they have the location now. So we get some shitty quick cuts of them driving too. And in the Jigsaw and Donnie car, Jigsaw's still getting his ass kicked as they drive.
Yes.
Donnie's just punching him while he's driving. He's like, tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Punch. Back at the house, Xavier is beating on a door, and Amanda and Daniel are trying to hold it shut. And Amanda goes to get Lucille. She jams the spikes into the bottom of the door, wedging it shut.
I was confused here because, like, when she went to go get the bat and come back over, she kind of nods at Daniel. And so I thought they were going to open the door and just, like,
yeah, I think
crack.
I think that's what they wanted us to think.
Yeah.
But then she was like, no, I'm just going to lock the door.
Yeah.
So back in the car, Donnie and Jigsaw are getting close to the house. Now, Amanda notices that nice guy Jonas's blood is running into a crack in the floor that turns out to be a trap door. The safe is sitting on top of the trap door, so Daniel comes to help her move it. The trap door is locked, but Daniel remembers the key that they found with the first tape.
Oh.
So he digs through Nice Guy's pockets and finds it. Nice Guy's Jonas. I don't remember when we found that out.
I don't think we ever do. Well, I mean, I think later Daniel says it.
Oh, yeah. I think he says it right before this. He's like, Jonas had the key.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, because just all of a sudden I started referring to him as Jonas in my notes. I'm like, when did I find that out? So Daniel gives the key to Amanda. She unlocks the trap door. Outside the house, Donnie is just pulled up, and Jigsaw gives him a key that he says he will need once he gets inside. Matthews goes into the house all cop-like.
He loses the dress shirt.
Yes. Well, you got to show off the guns.
Well, yeah.
Now Xavier, he gets into the first room just as the trap door is closing. Daniel and Amanda are now in what looks like some industrial steam tunnels.
I don't know. It's like a sub-basement.
Yeah. They went down some steps under the trap door, and now they're in some steam tunnels.
I don't know what it is.
Xavier struggles for a second, but he does get the door open. Amanda and Daniel take off running through the tunnels, and we quickly cut to Donnie, who's looking for Daniel in the house, and then back to Xavier getting to the tunnels, and then to Amanda and Daniel running away through the tunnels, and then to Donnie finding the father and son picture, and then to the SWAT team getting to the house.
And then more shots of Amanda and Daniel running in the tunnel with Xavier on their tail.
Lots and lots of quick cuts. We can't stay with one shot for more than 3 seconds now. The SWAT guys break down the front door to the house and radio to Carrie that they're in, but she doesn't see them on the monitors. Amanda and Daniel reach a sliding metal door and they go in the room. It's the shitty bathroom from the first movie.
Oh, no.
How excited are you to be back in this room, Mandy?
I'm not, especially when they show us around the room.
Yeah, there's an Adam mummy and a Zepp mummy and a Dr. Gordon foot mummy.
Yeah.
And then we get some voiceovers from those characters from the first movie. And Amanda finds one of the saws on the floor. Daniel appears to just have had enough. And he just sits down with his back against the wall like, I'm done.
Well, I think at that point, I thought he was dying.
I did too. But I also just thought that he was like, fuck this.
This is not the way out. I'm just in another room.
This is just as bad as what we were doing.
Upstairs, Donnie finds the original room that everyone was in. He sees Streetwise dead on the floor. And then we cut back to Daniel down below. And
and every time they cut back to Donnie, he has to yell Daniel's name at least twice.
So back downstairs, Daniel's he's starting to fade pretty fast. Amanda's begging him to stay with her, but it seems like he's dying at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing well.
No. Xavier breaks into the room, and Amanda and Daniel are sitting on the floor. She tells Xavier that Daniel is gone. Xavier, wielding his knife, says it doesn't matter. He just needs the number on the back of both of their necks. Amanda, being a genius, informs him that he doesn't know his own number.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Really?
Like, I just would have been like, okay, I'll just put my head down. You can come look at my number. Please leave me alone now.
And how will he find out his number if she doesn't tell him? Xavier tries to wipe the mirror in the room to take a look, with no luck. And then he tries to use his knife to catch a reflection.
And it's like that thing when they write something on the back of Homer Simpson's head,
Uh-huh.
and he keeps spinning around
Yes.
trying to see it.
But yeah, that doesn't work. So he takes a couple of big, deep breaths and reaches the knife above his head and then just proceeds to cut the flesh off the back of his neck.
And this scene goes on for a really long time, and we keep cutting away from it to see what Detective Donnie's doing.
It's not good.
And then it cuts back to it, and he's like digging that knife into his neck.
And then once he has the piece of flesh, he looks at it and sticks it in his pocket.
Yeah, and I like that he kind of holds it up to show us that it's wiggly.
Yes.
He's like, look, it wiggles.
It's my skin. So he sticks it in his pocket, and then he starts to stride towards Amanda and Daniel.
And this is when the game over score hits its like full stride.
Yes. With a sudden burst of energy, Daniel kicks Xavier's leg to drop him down.
I put that he pulls a surprise, bitch.
Yes. And then as Xavier's coming down, Daniel uses the hacksaw to slit his throat. Xavier collapses to the ground. Blood is pouring out of the wound in his neck. It's super gross.
And instead of looking away, Amanda and Daniel both just sit there and watch it and cry.
And like as he's like
and just look away.
It's not good. Donnie is now in the tunnels that are leading towards the gross bathroom.
Saying Daniel.
Yeah, yelling Daniel. The SWAT team is clearing rooms, but Carrie says she still can't see them on the monitor. I put, something tells me they're not in the same house.
I said, something fishy's going on.
A room that they enter has something covered, a big covered thing in it. So SWAT dude uncovers it, revealing more monitors and VCRs. This is when they realize they're not watching a live feed.
You got played, coppers.
Donnie enters the gross bathroom, but now it's all dark, and it was well lit before. He sees Xavier's body on the ground. He sees Adam's body still propped and sitting up, and Zepp is still on the ground rotting. He sees a hand splayed over the bathtub, and thinking it's Daniel, he approaches. Lying in the bathtub is someone wearing a cloak and the super scary pig mask.
I don't like the pig mask.
I don't either.
I feel like the pig mask smells too.
Yes.
I feel like it's actually made out of dead pig.
Me too, and I don't know why. Donnie attempts to take the mask off of the person, so the pig person jumps up and injects him with something. I would be dying right now.
Well, I think he...
Well, I know, but... Donnie falls back. He tries to shoot his gun, but he passes out before succeeding. But like, I can't imagine somebody just jumping up and shooting me in the...
No. Especially when they're wearing that fucking mask.
Yes, and it's all gross and yucky.
So now we cut back to Jigsaw's little hideout, and Carrie's watching the countdown timer hit 0. There's some clicking and clacking sounds from the other side of the room, and we see a safe door creak open. Carrie draws her gun and goes to check out the safe with the SWAT guy, and then we see a very sweaty Daniel is stuffed inside the safe with an oxygen mask on. His hands are bound, but he's breathing, and he whimpers a bunch, and once he realizes he's been discovered, he starts crying. Because he's been through a lot today.
Just a little bit.
Back in the shitty bathroom, Donnie Wahlberg wakes up, and he grunts confusedly, and he sees his gun and his flashlight, but they're laying a ways away from him. He puts his hand down and finds a tape recorder. He hits play, and we hear a woman's voice say, "Hello, Eric. You probably don't remember me. But you changed my life once. You sent me to prison. I was guilty of a lot of things, but not the drug charge you framed me for." Is this Amanda?
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't know the things you lose when you're locked away. The second time somebody changed my life, I was guilty, but my life was saved that day. I found myself a father, a leader, a teacher. What is the cure for cancer, Eric? The cure for death itself? The answer is immortality. By creating a legacy, by living a life worth living, you become immortal. So now, we find the tables are turned. My, how the turntables have turned. It is I who will carry on John's work after he dies, and you are my first test subject, and now you are locked away, helpless and alone. While the tape is playing, we see Amanda in the police station from the first movie, and then Amanda in the reverse bear trap gadget from the first movie, a shot of Daniel talking to Amanda in the captive house, Amanda slitting her wrists with Jigsaw looking on approvingly, and he tells her, "You must meet death to be reborn."
That's a little creepy.
Yeah. Then we see Donnie's interactions with Jigsaw, Amanda bringing unconscious Daniel into Jigsaw's workshop, flashbacks to the captive house, and more Jigsaw and Matthew's interactions, Amanda taking off the pig face mask after she injects Donnie Wahlberg. And now Amanda steps into view in the doorway. Donnie finds that he's chained to a pipe in the shitty bathroom, and he yells at Amanda and threatens to kill her. She says, "Game over," and shuts the door just like Jigsaw did in 1. And then we see beat-up Jigsaw in Matthew's vehicle as the camera pulls back with Donnie Wahlberg screaming. Credits.
End.
Yeah, that was the end of the movie.
That was the end of the movie.
So for a body count, did you want to go back and forth again like we did last time?
Sure.
Because that was kind of fun.
Okay.
So I'll let you take number 1 because I want to discuss number 2.
Okay. Because I have a question mark on number 2 as well.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So the first person killed is Michael. He got his head crushed in the death mask.
Okay, so number 2. Did those cops die?
I think so.
The electrocuted cops?
I think so. But
Okay.
I put 2 electrocuted cops, question mark.
Yeah, because my body count is 7 or maybe 9.
I counted them.
Okay, I'll count them too. So
Okay.
it's 9.
So then we get business dude shot through the eye.
Abby burned to death in the iron lung furnace crematorium.
Jonas, he took Lucille to the back of the head.
Seventh Heaven, really boring nerve gas death.
It was like a seizure. Sassy brunette lady, I put that she either bled out or the nerve gas caused her to bleed out.
Yeah, we're not really sure.
We don't know for sure.
She's dead.
It didn't end well.
And Xavier got his throat slit with a hacksaw.
Gross.
Very graphic.
Yes.
What were your reactions?
I put that I liked it. I said there were definitely some parts where I had to look away or close my eyes, but overall I really enjoyed the storyline. And I liked how they made you empathize for the characters, even though you didn't really get to know anything about them.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was really surprised by is there are so many characters, you don't even know their names.
Yeah, but you feel a connection to them.
Yeah.
You know their backstory.
I think it's because they put you in such a shitty environment with those people.
Yeah.
That you're just like, I have to cling to my friends.
Maybe. I enjoyed seeing more of Jigsaw / John, but he's pretty fascinating. I did put that there's aspects of the cinematography and directing that I just don't enjoy in these movies.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to overlook them.
Just for the story.
Yeah. What did you think?
Okay, so I've watched this movie bunches of times. And before watching it through this time and like actually paying really hard attention to everything, I thought I liked it a lot more than I did.
Really?
Yeah. Watching it this time with like a critical eye, like the quick cuts just annoyed the shit out of me.
Yes.
And there's almost no character development for the captives. Even though you get a tiny little bit of backstory and you do feel for them, I'm just like, okay, but why should I care?
Yeah. You don't even tell me their names.
And Marky Mark's older brother is just a caricature of a bad cop. Most of the captives are just caricatures of bad people.
Yes, they're very stereotype.
I love Jigsaw, and I like the reveal that Amanda was the one helping on the inside. But Amanda's voiceover on the tape at the end was horrible.
It's not good.
And it kind of takes you out of that final scene, especially when he gets towards the end and she's like, I am the one who will continue with John's work.
It's like, you don't sound threatening.
Yeah. It's also much less gory than I thought it was.
Really?
Like when I think about the Saw movies, I'm like, these are over the top gore extravaganzas. But like I've watched slasher movies that are worse than this.
So is it's just going to keep getting worse?
Yeah. Pretty soon we're going to start involving like machines that break bones. Do you have any production facts as a little palate cleanser?
I might cry. To conceal the ending, most of the actors were not given the last 25 pages of the script. Only those that it was vital to know.
And they had to sign an NDA.
Mm-hmm.
The marketing budget for this movie was $2 million. The production budget was $4 million.
Oh.
So they spent half as much on marketing as they did on making the movie.
That's crazy. It took 4 people 4 days to replace all the syringe tips with fiber tips for the needle pit.
That's a lot.
Yes. It was like over 300,000 needles.
That's too many of needle. Eric Knudsen, who played Daniel, had the flu when they were filming the house scenes, so it actually worked out really well because he looked like
That's why he looks
Poison
so sick.
Boy.
Huh.
like, wow, you're really getting into character. And he's like, no, I just feel like ass.
Oh. Henry Rollins was originally cast to play Xavier.
That would have been amazing.
No, I would have been like, that's Henry Rollins. He's nice.
He wasn't nice in Sons of Anarchy.
No.
This movie was filmed in 25 days in beautiful Toronto, Canada.
Ooh.
That's all I had.
That's all I had. Do you have any goofs?
When we first see the timer on the door in the needle pit room, it reads 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after it's activated, it starts counting down from 3 minutes.
Oh.
That was the only thing I noticed.
Yeah.
That and the fact that there seemed to be diarrhea coming out of one of those air vents.
Maybe it was just dirty.
Oh, maybe that was supposed to show that the gas is still pumping in and the gas is dirty.
That is what it was. Now that you say that, I know, yes.
Yeah, because that vent looked like it had chunky goo coming out of it. Mandy, who are you?
I said I think I'm Lucy.
Is that Seventh Heaven?
Yeah.
That's who I said you were.
Okay, I said I'm not really going to add anything to a situation like this. I'm just going to cry and scream a lot and then just give up in the end.
I put that you're just going to nap and then totally shut down.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I have a big head here. I'm going to say I'm Jigsaw in this movie because I just want you to sit down and pay attention to me and give me a drink.
Oh, I put that you would be streetwise dude. Jonas.
I could see that.
I said because you'd be trying to like keep everybody calm and you would want to be solving all the problems.
Yeah, I'd be like,
you'd be like, I'm Detective Cam. I'm going to figure it out.
I'm on the case. Like Donnie W. So, final thoughts and ratings?
What'd you rate it?
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yes.
This is the second Saw movie that you've rated higher than me.
I know.
So that's a, 6.5 out of 10?
Yep. Once the movie wrapped, I liked the premise that Amanda's taking it all over and getting revenge on Donnie was her first mission.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem very Jigsaw-y.
Yeah.
Jigsaw's not about revenge.
That's true. But Amanda is.
Oh, yeah.
I like that there's no hero in the movie. Even Donnie, he's the protagonist, but he's got a dark past.
And SWAT guys, like, just go beat the shit out of him.
Yes. I could have done without the whole him and Carrie subplot. I don't know what that added.
It becomes more important in later movies.
Okay, thank you. And then I put, these movies are really starting to surprise me because I'm enjoying them more, even with the grossness factor. I love the last couple of moments of the movie when everything falls into place because it's just like, oh yeah.
And I like how they flash back to the previous movie and how they flash back to earlier scenes in this movie where Jigsaw just says one little thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, why did he say that? That seems like such a throwaway. And then they're like, no, that was the most important thing he said.
Like when he told Donnie, like, all you have to do is sit here and listen to me talk.
And you'll find him in a safe and secure state.
And then at the end, you're like, oh, fuck.
Because he was in a safe.
Yes. So that I understand the grittiness of the film, but I could do without all the quick shots.
Yeah.
I understand it's like to help convey chaos, but it just turns out to be distracting.
And it feels cheap. And like I said earlier, it feels like a music video.
Yes. Very Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah. I said, it's not as groundbreaking as the first movie, but I actually thought the reveal and the mystery in this movie was a lot better.
Yes.
Really good pacing. Like, they don't let you down for a second. They take you into that first crime scene, and from then on, you're just going. Not a great score, other than the game over score, but I think the game over score more than makes up for the rest of it. It did lose some points for me for the gimmicky cuts and the editing tricks.
Yeah.
I still really enjoy this movie, but my opinion of it did drop a little after this watch. So
It's always a little disappointing.
yeah. Like, before I watched it critically, I would have said it was an 8 out of 10.
Really?
And then it dropped to a 6 for me.
Oh.
So I was kind of disappointed.
Because sometimes when you're watching it, you're not like in the moment of thinking about shots.
Well, and usually when I'm watching a movie that I've seen before, I have a laptop on my lap or my tablet in my hand. So, yeah, this time I paid a lot more attention and I was like, oh, it's not as good.
Oh, no. So a collective 6.5.
Yes. I can't believe you're enjoying the Saw movies.
I can't believe it either.
It's pretty rad.
I'm very shocked.
Yeah. So if you want to find us on the socials, you can go to Facebook and find us at Franchise Frights Pod. Instagram at Franchise Frights Pod. Twitter, Snapchat, and Blue Sky, all F Frights Pod. And come back next Thursday when we're going to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Oh, boy.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say to the kids before we go?
Rate, review, subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Yeah. Do the things that the Gen Zers tell you to do on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Just help a couple out.
Help a couple of old people out.
Yeah.
So until next Thursday,
Remember,
they always come back. We did it.